Camden Select Board for her inaugural, no, there's no
Co-liaison.
Okay, co-liaison. But I want to recognize you for being here.
Thank you. And
Why don't you start it off by introducing yourself and we'll go around the table and everyone will get introduced for all those people.
Camden Select Board.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Passionate about pathways and related
Totally.
matters.
And it's date night?
Yeah. Oh, can we not go? Oh,
She's never gonna come back.
Public record. Oh.
This is a bad choice.
They do tend to go a little detail oriented in the.
Okay.
Jane,
My name's Jane Self, and I'm an alternate from Camden.
and it's not date night.
I don't really know anything about dating.
Oh my gosh, we can have
Do
a
we push-
sidebar afterward.
Allison,
It's
do we push
raising
to
May.
speak?
You gotta turn on your
Dates and
microphone.
raisins.
Do you
Make it
push?
green.
Oh.
Make it green.
Do we
It's raisin
push
night?
it to speak?
No, just green
Anyway.
it.
It's green, then it's on, and if it's
Okay,
red,
cool.
it's off.
Yeah.
Did
Sorry,
you
Andrew.
say raisin?
Dates, raisins, I don't know. Andrew Stanchoff,
Dried
Camden, Maine.
fruits.
Michael Thompson, Select Board of Rockport.
Anita Brocia Scott, member from Camden.
Tom Zumwalt, Camden.
And Jeff Scott from Camden.
Richard Stetson from Camden.
Margot Murphy from Rockport.
Linda Clancy, Rockport.
Allison McKellar, Camden Select Board, co-liaison, transitioning out.
And Michael is liaison.
Did you say Michael?
I said Select Board, but I didn't say liaison.
Yeah.
Can we correct that?
I wish you would, because it's
Okay.
deserving of accuracy.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And it takes 8 minutes, is that right? It does it automatically? All right. You might want to take notes if you're particularly involved in something that involves an action item that you're responsible for. That would be my suggestion.
And I thought I would just say hi. So I don't know if you guys can see him on the
Lindsay.
screen, but I'm Lindsay Levine. I'm an alternate for Camden. And sorry, I'm not there in person.
Lindsay.
But
you
it is
snuck-
just as cold where I am as where you are.
Oh, hi, Lindsay.
Lindsay, you
Sorry, we
you
missed
snuck up. You snuck up. Does anybody have any comments, any memories related to the minutes from July that we need to approve? If you were present, any corrections?
Which turned out to be Camden only, I think. I don't think.
I think Margot
I was the only one
Margot was here.
Oh, Michael was here.
And Michael was here.
Okay.
Yeah. Comments?
Oh, also says Ken was
All right, any objections to approve them as written?
I wasn't there. Me.
Yeah, all right. So approved then. Great.
No, I was.
I don't remember that.
The first item on the agenda is the discussion of the Midcoast Connector Summit. And for those of you that weren't around, I think, Marco, didn't you help? And Linda, you both, or Linda, which of you helped organize that last time?
Both of us.
And me too.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Why
yeah.
don't you just sort of frame it, what it is, what it does? And then the idea of this discussion is to say, do we want to do this again? Do we want to test the waters? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Well, since you are,
You want me to? I do. Okay. So in January of 2020, we held a gathering in Flatbread where we invited Pathways, DOT people, Rockland and their municipality, people that were working on pathways, as well as all the land trusts, Island Institute.
There were a lot.
DOTs.
There was DOT was there,
Bike.
Public Works people were there,
bug,
BCM, I think, was there,
Yeah.
BCM. And we had, I would say there were about 30 people there.
at least.
And the goal of that was really to have an informal conversation about what are people doing in terms of pathways and where their focus is, And are there any sort of strategic places that, municipalities would really enhance what's happening sort of off trail or, off main roads, or vice versa, things that, what they're doing for trail work would really enhance what they're doing. And really with that focus that we see more and more people are coming here, and COVID really highlighted that the mid-coast and this area is really being used more and more as an outdoor space for people to explore. And how do we enhance that with what we do with the work in our pathways? Out of that meeting came the goal of creating a map. Island Institute was willing to be the sort of backbone of that, and the person that was there at the time. Since then, Island Institute has really changed a lot and morphed. But, we all know that in March of 2020, 2 months later, the world changed and people's resources and focuses changed. So this is really the question of, do we feel like this would be a good time, and not necessarily now, but maybe either in the spring or even next fall, early winter, that we look at kind of bringing back the same kind of players, and maybe there's other players to include, but to have another summit where we talk about the work we're doing, seeing how we can sort of support each other's work, and let that help inform what we're doing, not as master plans, but as work plans within the work that we're doing.
And clarify too. I think clarify what exists out there, because there's so many efforts going on. And I think the Camden Rockport Pathways it's essential premise is connecting, I think, communities, but there's other organizations have different premises on what they're operating on. So I think it would help to clarify for the public what everybody's doing, and then we can figure out how to tie together.
And the goal isn't for us to go in with an agenda. It's really to sort of, through a natural grassroots process, see if there's something that kind of percolates that makes sense. So last time it was about a map. This time it might be, I don't know. Nothing's coming to my head right now. But letting the meeting be a time for ideas to come forward. And then doing it in a place where it's informal, it's facilitated, and it is relaxing.
With beer.
Beer or food or whatever.
I think it's worth considering how many new people have come to the area in those years since 2020, and why they've come, and how they perceive these communities and what they're looking for their experience. I mean, it seems like it would be a timely conversation to continue, because if there are projects that have been in consideration, there could be new people and new perspectives.
Absolutely.
Also a good time, I think, to talk about like what makes sense to have go through like a municipal committee versus community initiatives, and that sometimes having everything feel like it, if it's related to pathways, it's like goes through this Camden Rockport Pathways committee with all of the structure and oversight and levels that a lot of the time, it's not, some things aren't quite ready for that formality, or could be moved forward more easily if it wasn't all through the municipalities. And so I've had a lot of people come to me over the years and say, oh, I really like to work on this or that. And it's been like, well, you could join the Pathways Committee, kind of as like the only vehicle. And I think a lot of progress can be made on some of these projects better, maybe with more of like a, look how much the Rotary clubs get done, or these different McNEMBA, and kind of dividing up, okay, who should be the lead on these different things.
That's actually interesting. We threw a net of who came in 2020, but it might be great to have a little more time to figure out that wider net of, who should be invited.
Well, yeah, and to that point, we spoke the other night, and when Rockport contingent met, Polly, who is somebody who's moved here to Rockport recently, has tons of energy, and she was talking about, well, how can we crowdsource to see who's out there that might want to come to this meeting, and I thought that was an excellent idea, because the demographics have changed in just 6 years. But the energy at that meeting, that one meeting, was really high. It was really friendly and collaborative. And so I think that's what we're hoping to see if we can have another one, but with a little bit more structure, or move forward from it with structure.
Do we have
Hoping
some
the
big
world doesn't
maps
shut
on
down
that?
2 months
Maybe we
later.
could arrange to have some really big maps there.
That would be great if we could have maps.
Well, we did have a map,
We did.
and that people taught, and that was kind of,
They talked to it, the
they talked
idea.
to it about where they're working on things. And it was great to have Rockland there.
Rockland, yeah.
Yeah, NIMBA was there too.
Yeah.
Now that I remember it. I'd like it. I'm feeling like, the group in 2020 said, yeah, we want to do sort of a unifying map. Everybody contributes. And I sort of tied that to the crowdsourcing thing, where everybody would contribute to this map that records not only existing facilities, but visions of where they're going next, so that people can see where it is now and where it's going. And all of these little committees and groups would know that. And so we can synergize a little bit more. So I feel like I want to push a little bit more on that and not just let it bubble up a little bit. I would like to suggest it at the meeting, to say, hey, as a result of the last meeting, we said we were going to do this, but it didn't happen.
Well, yeah.
And what do you guys think about re-looking at that again? And maybe the resources have changed. Maybe we can get some energy behind getting that
Maybe
done.
Midcoast Planning or whatever the.
Yeah, McCog.
McCog,
McCog might
yeah,
That's a good idea.
be able to play a role in that.
yeah. And
County GIS people maybe.
I did write to
Abby?
Abby.
But I think what our conversation is here tonight is not to plan what
Not
it
to
looks like.
plan,
It's to see whether there's support.
yeah,
And then from that, whoever's interested in that, we kind of build from there and get input from here, crowdsource who should be here, who should be involved,
yeah.
what are some elements, where, how, So tonight is really about thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
I need more information.
But it will come like 6 or 8 or 7 months.
Can
gonna
happen
be-
fast.
It's going to be here in a flash.
And I'll
So-
put it out there. This is a project I would personally be interested in working on. So I will put some energy behind it.
Mhm. Any, just give me some nods or shakes or,
I think it'd be very good to pursue that
Talking in
again.
6 months?
I think it could be sooner than that. I think it'd
Sooner?
be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
That we could have the meeting.
No.
No,
No.
wasn't it the other night, Jeff, you were saying, let's push it to June?
No,
and
it
you were
was
saying autumn.
somebody in
I'm
the group.
thinking
It was
autumn.
it was Lenny. It was Lenny.
I
It
don't
wasn't
see it
me.
happening before next autumn. I mean, because we want to find who are the key players, like who.
Oh, that's
could-
easy.
Like,
I
could
got
the
that.
MCOG be,
Yeah, I've already,
This is COG that you're talking about.
Mid-Coast Council of Governments. It's a sort of a
Formerly McCad.
mid-coast. Huh?
Formerly McKed, if that helps.
What was McKed?
The Midcoast Economic
Development.
Development District.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's,
They came actually to the Rockport Pathways. No, they came to our joint meeting and did we have
no,
our
one
joint-
of the people,
Yeah.
it was the joint, it was the July meeting.
Was that
She
in
was the
Rockport?
featured, it was in
Oh,
Rockport.
so I was there at that
Oh,
meeting.
yeah.
You're on the list.
She came,
Sarah or something, what was her name?
she's the one who really liked the Rock Road.
The Lily Pond.
She
Yeah.
liked the Lily Pond.
She was, because she was
And
going to
so
add that.
That was going to be
yeah.
state money to go to.
That's right.
Yeah, they love it. There's.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
All
apologize.
right, you with us? Okay, Linda's here.
Catching up.
Okay, I've been there too.
Yeah.
Let's see, everybody, let's see your hands. Favor of moving forward, timeline, we're gonna see what, the motion is to move, it's to move forward on setting up a meeting with a host of people who build facilities for pedestrians and bikes in sort of our area, which is from Rockland to Appleton to Lincoln.
Excellent idea.
Nita,
People or organizations?
organizations,
Organizations.
Yeah, I do.
Bring in people.
But we're gonna let people come too, right?
anybody can come.
Organization.
Tom?
Hopefully the organizations have people.
Yeah,
Does anybody want to second that?
Oh, we don't get to vote, Susan.
yeah.
And I'll be, so if I'm involved in helping to coordinate, I have jury duty all during March.
So does
And-
Nita.
Why? Hey, see you there.
There.
Oh, wow. The two of you can work on this. Don't talk, but
All right, come back.
But,
You seem very
Um,
excited about it.
you know, spring happens very quickly. To me, this feels like
Fall,
a fall thing.
all right.
early fall.
It could be early fall. I'd say
Why,
October.
why does it take so long to put it together? I'm just curious.
Well, I think we need to, like, if the thought is we want a map, who can support the map making process?
That
And,
was the problem.
That was the
And-
problem.
well, Island Institute was willing to do it then.
But they didn't?
No.
Well, then
Nothing
after
ever happened.
COVID,
Nothing ever happened.
COVID hit.
Why
And
does that
then-
relate?
What's that?
Why does that relate to making a map? COVID.
We don't know.
Because the Island Institute
Shut down.
everything shut down in March, 2 months after we had this meeting.
Yeah.
And we started processes and then things shut down and then the world changed.
Nobody was on first base. Nobody was pushing it.
And nobody knew whether they were going to have jobs. Nobody knew if they were,
Be alive.
what, yeah,
Be
people.
alive.
Both end of the
Kind of
road.
starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is really, but we knew that the energy, we know the energy is there.
We might just need to get everybody to use one of these crowdsourced all trails kind of things or.
Yeah.
Last time it was open source. It was,
Like, see what the land trusts and all, they're doing such a good job of mapping out a lot of their.
One of
stuff.
the things we discovered, though, they're not on the same page with what they're using.
Yeah.
And so it makes it hard that, one was in a ArcGIS and the other one was in, so that in itself, who's going to do the,
The
the,
county should-
yeah. And maybe
we
it'll
should
be
advocate
easier.
for money in the budget somewhere. I mean, it would be a good time for somebody to.
I think
put
what
money in the budget.
what I'd like to do is to come back in a month and I'd like, it sounds like Margot's willing to work on this. Margot, do some initial thinking about it and see whether things come together quickly or not. And
Like
come
a
back with a
subcommittee?
time limit, huh?
Maybe like a little people that are interested in it.
Yeah,
like
and
that
Margot, I'm
themselves.
saying Margot's interested. Is there anybody else interested in exploring sort of
That's
the
a good-
timeline? What pieces of the puzzle have to fit together? There's going to be flatbread involved in setting up flatbread as a place or something like flatbread. That's easy. And maybe identifying a resource in the government or an organization that's willing to step up and say, yeah, we can offer this crowdsourced map that everybody can, maybe that'll happen quickly. I don't know. But just do some homework on it and then maybe we can revisit the timeline. I think it
So
would
was
have to
there
be,
thumbs
it
up
would
that
either
this
have
is
to
good?
be, yeah.
And then is there people who are interested in?
Yeah, who else is interested?
Come up with a list first.
You got to turn your microphone on.
I have the list.
Come up with a list. You have a list of the last one? Okay.
I
So,
do.
and
I
then
have the
contact
minutes.
all of
I have
those.
the minutes from last one.
But that's what
all
part of
those
like, the group of
organizations.
people getting together to talk about it will be, will be deciding that
Right,
stuff
right.
and then bringing back ideas.
exactly.
So maybe it won't be the same
Exactly.
exact list, maybe it'll be the same, but
Just a starting point. It's not the list, just a starting point.
First question is, does this make sense in the scope of this?
Correct. Anybody, Anita, thumbs up?
Mm.
Tom? Andrew? Jane? Linda, you're up. Richard? All right. So that, I'm going to put that on the agenda for next month too, just to check in on what it's going and who's going to join.
And then
It's
are
gonna
there
be-
other
who
people
else
that
is
are
Margot?
interested in this?
Margot, anybody else?
I'll help you.
I don't know if select board members are invited.
You-
to
no.
Be part of it. I mean, it might also be
No.
a good chance to like people that might not even be on this committee or something.
We can find those, but I mean,
I
it'd
think-
be good to have a few people from here that are.
Yeah, I'll join you. Nobody else wants to do it?
I'm happy.
Lindsay?
I mean, I said I would.
Yeah,
but-
you can put me on. I'm gonna be away for much of August, but
Oh, Lindsay'd be great.
Great.
Yeah.
And maybe Polly might
Yep.
want to help out. too.
Oh, yeah, she was kind of, yeah.
See the list. I check in on it, Jeff. So,
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
send the
Need
list,
something
I'll
to
send
do.
the list from the last meeting. It's basically it
okay.
was an attendance sheet, I think.
Yeah, but did
Yeah.
they come from Jeff?
They did.
That's similar to the one,
Must have.
similar to the one we did at the middle school,
No, that was different.
the old,
That was different. That was safety.
There was input
Oh,
on the
that's right.
master plan, I thought.
Oh, was it master plan? No, that, it was different, different group, completely different.
thinking of safety.
Yeah. Margot, Jeff. Andrew, are you on or not?
Yes.
Okay. Next item, Lily Pond Trail. This is sort of a follow-up of, if you recall, in December, we talked about Lily Pond and the issues and submitted a letter. And that process is still going along. In case any of you weren't aware of it, you probably read it in the papers, but the person who was going to remove the road has withdrawn their application to do so. And so now what we have is sort of, we're back to where we were with one caveat, and that is the select board, the Rockport Select Board made a statement. And
Andrew,
Sorry.
keep it up until you.
Sorry.
I'm hearing voices.
keep going. The Rockport Select Board made a statement, and it was in their January meeting, beginning of January meeting, and their next meeting is in the beginning of February. And their statement was a position statement on what they think about the issue of Rock Road. But what I'd like to focus in on is their particular comments related to the Pathways Committee. And also a little bit about their positions too. So I want to read the letter to you, the public statement.
Oh.
And then,
Sorry. We're going to read the Rockport Select Board statement right now, out loud.
Just the salient.
just the salient points, don't worry. You can handle it. Yeah, and then I composed a draft response, which what I'd like the group to decide is whether we need to respond and if my response is appropriate. And the way I would suggest doing it would be to read it in the public comment section of the next select board meeting. So this is the next select board meeting after they made their statement, we would make a response statement in Rockport. That's correct. And the idea of putting it in the community comment section is that it's not a discussion point, but I feel that it's important that we respond to their comments related to the Pathways Committee. So, and then that's it. Yeah. So one of the points is that the select board feels that that it's a legal quagmire to approach building a trail here. So that's one of their points. And they don't see what the point is of going into it. Plus, they don't see what the point is of having a trail there. There's no benefit to the town. And there's very limited resources that the town has, so they don't want to invest that. Yeah, that the Rock Road runs parallel to Union Street, and we would rather pay attention to maintaining pathways rather than creating new ones. So,
Could you read that sentence? Because I don't recall that one.
which one? This sentence. It says, "We prefer to pay attention to and ensure maintenance of the pathways that we have already invested in rather than throwing resources at new projects."
Okay, thank you.
I was quite concerned about that statement because I think it's it's a both. And we need to say something about that.
To maintain.
This one also doesn't need to be created because it already exists, but
Yeah, well, and it's not a lot of building involved here. It's a dirt trail. And then they went in and spoke directly to the Pathways Committee and says that we need to stick to our knitting, which says
aren't you knitting? Is that what it says?
the committee's knitting. Well, they didn't say that. I'm saying it. It
Yeah,
says the
don't
pathways.
interpret. Please
I
don't
just-
interpret. Please
Sorry.
just read it.
All right. The
Because-
Pathways bylaws state the committee's responsibility will be to continue making recommendations for implementation of the Camden Rockport Community Path, formerly referred to as the CSD path. That's what they said they want us to focus on.
That's the Route 90, right?
And that was part of our charter. She's saying that it's our bylaws, but it's in our charter. And it says that the 31-page Rockport Pathways Master Plan is focused on sidewalks and byways, and it prioritizes pathways to the high school. The CSD remains on the drawing board, and we would expect that to be the focus of the Rockport Pathways Committee. So that's
Right, and that's the-
reassuring.
That is in error. That's the 2015 report, not the 2023.
This is a public statement, and there was no opportunity to.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And what people vote, the voters of Camden and Rockport, when they formed the Camden Rockport Pathways Committee and allocated resources, they identified two projects of great importance, one being
Union Street, and the other
in the
was,
Jacobs Quarry
and the Jacobs
Trail and
Quarry.
the CSD
That's right.
path. And then
That's right. So a little bit of mistakes, I think. I wrote a response, and it's just as long as theirs. But basically, I said, regarding the ownership of rights related to Rock Road, it's clear that Midco Solid Waste and Penn Bay YMC transferred those rights to the town of Rockport. But in the associated town process to accept those rights, it never happened. And that's what happened. It's not confusing. It's not a legal quagmire. The deeds are very clear. That's my second point. Select Board says that it fails, quote, fails to see any town interest in using scarce resources to correct this issue. And I said, the interest is in the community. The interest is in quality of life. The interest is in preserving an historic Rockport feature. So there is interest. They use that word that they didn't understand what interest there would be for
But
the
that came
town.
from the select board itself.
This is the Select Board.
Right, that's
This is responding to the Select Board statement.
right. But the select board was speaking for itself in that it didn't want to use town resources. Because in the conversation after, there were select board members who said, if Pathways wants to do a title search or something, go for it. They just didn't want to spend municipal funds.
Scarce resources, the municipal scarce resources.
Yeah,
That's right.
scarce. It was the resource allocation
In the budget.
compared to the general overall town of Rockport citizens' interest is what they were assuming,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so
Not that there's no interest, but what's
Rockport didn't want
all
to
of a
spend the
sudden
money.
Hmm?
Rockport government right now does not want to spend the money
Emerging.
on doing a title search, but that
Hmm.
was not, it was not a thumbs down to anybody else who wants to do a title.
No,
search.
well, I said the select board says that it fails to, quote, fails to see any, this is their quote, they fail to see any town capitalized interest in using scarce resources.
Well,
That's true.
That's their opinion.
That's their opinion. And my response is that there is interest in the community. The interest is in the quality of life. The interest is in preserving an historic Rockport feature.
right. So we
I
can go
should
ahead
actually
and
said-
do, we can do a title search.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just, do you think that we shouldn't say that?
We haven't even gotten to that point of whether we should say anything or not.
Okay,
Keep going with your,
okay. And then they directed us in their statement that we should have been working with property owners, speaking person to person in a neighborly way. And I say that is exactly how we did it for the last 20 years, trying to move it along. And the strategy had to change when a property owner submitted a request to remove Rock Road.
yeah, I think there was there was a lack of communication between people in Rockport, between leadership in Rockport and then Pathways Committee, because there was, and actually Camden Pathways didn't even know the level of conversations that were already going on in August and September, starting the process of talking to people. So that assumption that that conversations weren't even taking place is not true, because conversations were already taking place.
And that's what I said
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
in response to their statement, that the direction
But I
was we
think,
should have been
I
talking.
think amongst all of us, there is a lack of awareness of what people, you guys didn't even know what the Rockport contingent was doing in terms of talking with people, starting the conversation.
I still don't know.
Hmm?
I still don't know what conversations with.
Yeah, they were
property owners
fledgling. They were fledgling. So you were at the July meeting and we had the conversation with the woman from McKed.
EbCog.
Meg-
McCog.
McCog. And it's in the minutes that, oh, yeah, okay, some of that trail money, the bond, possibly Rockport could access, Camden Rockport could access for the Lily Pond Trail. Somebody said, what about Lily Pond Trail? And we all said, oh, yeah, I don't know if you remember that July meeting.
We also talked about doing a parking lot at the head of the Camden Hill State Park at the Carriage Trail, if that
Right.
helps bring it
That's
together.
right.
That was another idea.
That was another idea and we didn't like that one. So
No, the state park didn't like it.
State Park didn't like it, right?
We liked it, the state park didn't.
So at any rate, at that July meeting, Aaron wasn't there. Aaron Englander, who is Maine Coast Heritage Trust, but he's on the Pathways Committee. So I said, okay, I'll go talk to Aaron, because we had talked about the Lily Pond Trail going back to Heidi Baker years ago, right?
Yeah, and,
Um,
yeah,
And so that conversation started. So Aaron and I walked part of the pathway and the visioning started. And then Stephen came walking by because he was going to test the waters at Lily Pond. And we said, hey, Stephen, what do you think about a pathway along here? Well, it's already existing, but what do you think about the idea of, some of the ideas that were floating around? And he said, yeah, it's great. So the conversations were starting, but what happened at the other end, when all of a sudden we learned that it was going to get pulled up.
the
I
road
think-
was going to be destroyed.
Right. That was a shock to this.
That's why
to
it
the
had to
entire
change.
system.
That's why it had to change. And I just want to add to what you're saying, Linda, just real quickly. 20 years ago, we started talking to Midcoast Solid Waste. We started talking to the Penn Bay Y before it was built.
1999.
This was
Before
one
it
of the
was
reasons
built.
the why
This is-
property was purchased
And
and the
it's
why
why
went
there's,
there.
that's why there's an easement, a pedestrian easement on the Y. so
But this is
the
where the
point
select
is
board,
that,
They just don't have the
they
history.
didn't, there
They
was the
didn't have the history.
contextual history that was not there, which
and I'm
which was
just,
too
what I'm
bad.
trying, what gets me is that they're making a statement that we're not doing this, and we are doing it.
I understand.
We are. And you don't make those kind of discussions public because they're person to person.
So
Also,
I
this
think there
doesn't
was-
rely on landowner, like when the municipality gives up, this is what I've been hammered into me many times after making some mistakes in Camden, not realizing that when you give up municipal rights and you don't assert those rights, you're like giving, there's a difference between new rights that you need to acquire and then just giving away rights that you already
Yeah.
have. And sometimes it can be very difficult to see why it matters at the time. Like when we were going to give up Airy Ave, for instance, I was like, sweet, we don't have to plow anymore. That's the way it was rolled out to us. Oh,
Right.
great. And it seemed logical. I voted to put it on the warrant, recommended discontinuing a section of Airy Ave. And then Anita and a couple
Oh,
others.
Anita changed that
That was
one.
Came and
Anita.
gave
Yeah.
this speech about how you have to think 100 years down the road and you
Yeah.
should never, ever give up municipal rights because you might need those in the future and you don't know how the properties are going to be subdivided. And she was absolutely right. And so that's where I feel like the conversation was.
But I
little
think
off.
there's two different things being talked about right now, and you're talking about the miscommunications, the misunderstanding,
Mm,
historical context was
Yeah,
missing in the statement from Rockport, and you're hoping to correct that in your
yeah,
statement?
yeah, just to say that we are doing what they think, what the select board, we are doing our job in the Pathways Committee, trying to move things forward consistent with our charter.
I think that there's just a lack of understanding on the select board in Rockport and maybe in Camden too, of what goes on in a committee like this, because it does take a lot of talking to.
We have a Rockport Select Board member here. Do you want to ask him?
No, I know, and absolutely, Michael, if you want to speak up, but it's also, like we did the other night in the Pathway, the Rockport contingent, we had a time for vetting this whole issue, or the statement itself, and sort of how it made people feel, which was pretty lousy.
So I'm going to try, I don't want to spend too much.
I'll
in
just
it. Go ahead.
interject slightly if I can process.
Yeah,
There's a lot of what the select board officially committed to saying was premised on two different things. Part of it was going back to what the charter was when this joint committee was formed. And as I understood, it was just for the pathways, what was along Route 1, and then the one going out to the high school, I think, was those.
no,
And
it
the-
says
Well, wait,
Jacob's
you're just gonna
Quarry.
finish.
It says, on the charter, it says Jacob's Quarry
Is that,
Union
was that mentioned in?
in the charter, in our
something?
charter.
Okay.
But it had been a while since it was
Okay.
been very prominently
Okay.
talked
So
about.
that, my understanding.
Quoted out of it.
I haven't read it. I haven't read the charter, but I was told that it was basically these two towns had joint projects which made perfect sense for the two towns to work together. And they were major projects, basically. And then the other issue is that whether or not the solid waste and the Y actually had rights to give us or not, and whether that impacts from one end of the street all the way to Lime Rock,
Mhm.
because there's all these properties that there, as we know, and their title searches haven't shown anything for 100 years, that there's any, rights of way or easements or whatever established, other than mentioned in a couple, 1800 or 17, whatever things. I mean, the YMCA did specifically say they would transfer their rights, to Rockport. And there's a piece of land that Rockport owns, and I think it's that piece across the Y property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually own that, but my understanding was that nobody ever really established that there were rights that beyond that property boundary that were to be given to Rockport.
Because
That's just
they
not-
never did
Because
it, and they
that's
never
what-
spent the $5,000 in 1999 or
I think
2000.
they did because so in
They did.
1999, they voted to do that, to find out some of this stuff. At
That I
that time,
understand.
Rockport really thought that they had most of the rights. This is what Paul Gibbons told me.
That
Paul
makes
Gibbons
sense.
was the town
And
attorney
so they,
Right.
in
and the attorney
1999,
for Midco Solid Waste.
and
Go
the
ahead.
why, there was the
It was a perfect time
vote to
do
try
this.
to establish, nobody in 1999 was saying that the town that there were no public rights. It was like, do we have the right to change the road? Do we have the right to massively improve it? Do we just have an easement? There was nobody saying there wasn't an easement through there. But so they spent some time actually trying to quantify those rights. What we don't know, and it would be great maybe if somebody could dig through all of Rockport's files. I was able to find all of Midco Solid Waste files at the time, which is what I offered to share with Rockport, and would have been nice if somebody had reached out and wanted to see more of that. But there was a whole vote that the Midco Solid Waste Board took. There are minutes from that meeting. Paul Gibbons came to the meeting and said, because I think that's at the time they realized, oh, it's not all the rights with Rockport, it was with Midco Solid Waste, because Midco Solid Waste in 1994 had bought or acquired that property from Rockport. And then Midco Solid Waste also acquired additional properties that had rights to that shared quarry road. And so Paul Gibbons said, and it says right in the minutes, that the town of Rockport would like Midco Solid Waste to release their rights to the road because they want to build a recreational trail. And there was a motion by the Midco Solid Waste Board that said, yes, we'll release those rights contingent on it being used for recreational purposes. And because it was like lots of different properties have rights to that road. And so nobody has all the rights. But in order for Rockport to apply for grants and that kind of thing, they had to be able to show that they owned it, was what was explained. And so both Midco Solid Waste and the Y voted and did that under that assumption, with that, like Rockport, it says it, the Rockport town attorney comes to Midco Solid Waste meeting, says Rockport wants to build a recreational trail. It's all in the minutes.
Yeah.
And then you vote to do that for that purpose. And then to have Rockport turn around however many years later and say, I don't know what you're talking about. But what does seem to, I think that if you look back in the newspapers from all that time, it was an incredibly tumultuous time. And
In the town.
yeah, and so what doesn't appear to have happened is like the town manager of Rockport left at that time. A bunch of people left. There doesn't appear to have been ever a special, like a town meeting where Rockport actually voted to accept those rights.
That's the key.
And so maybe that's the,
It got lost.
maybe it was like, Paul Gibbons said, oh, we should do this. Let's have Midco Solid Waste in the Y, give these rights over to Rockport.
Yeah.
Then Paul Gibbons stopped being the town attorney for Rockport as
They were
well.
Right.
part of that turnover.
And so maybe maybe it's a legitimate miscommunication there.
I have
It got
one.
dropped because the
It
YMCA
just got dropped.
roads.
And usually when a
important.
town actually votes to accept rights, that's how everybody becomes aware of it too.
Here's, I guess just one more question is, and I hear what you're saying with that, and I can understand that. But was it ever established prior to the Y releasing their rights, or to the Midco Solid Waste releasing their rights? Was there ever a confirmed thing that they had rights across those other people's properties?
Yes, it says it all the way to.
But,
Yeah, it says it in the Midco Solid Waste.
but
which
if that
is-
were the case, over the years when these properties have
Why
been
didn't
bought
the
and
title
sold,
search show it up?
why didn't, yeah,
Though, what you don't
So-
understand is that the surveys all show Rock Road.
it shows
And
Rock
title
Road.
Searches and title insurance excludes, every title insurance company excludes things from coverage that are readily observable on a modern survey, all of those things. But if you look at the surveys to which many of these deeds refer, it has a survey that shows Rock Road, status
Well, I can
unknown.
understand Rock Road being shown on something, but whether or not it was established ownership rights, because if they were really established ownership rights that the town of Rockport could have taken, And these people have been paying real estate taxes thinking that they have.
So a title
There's
search.
all those complications
So
of what I'm
a title
understanding.
search on each of the properties would have to be done, but there's not that many, right? There's the
Yeah.
YMCA. There, in addition, there's like
YMCA doesn't
3
have
or
to be done.
4 in addition to Aldermere Farm, right?
Hmm.
So there's not that many. So,
I don't think Aldermere
No, no,
does.
that's not part of it.
Not
It's
even all.
in
well,
the-
it's at the,
But one of those properties did
where it
do,
hits the road up
their,
there.
They did. They
their,
did title
their
searches.
attorney said that they've done back to 1924.
Well, they went back to,
Not the way-
that's not
so
enough to
that's the-
go.
That's the town negotiating from a position of weakness, from using the private property owner. The private property owner hasn't even shown a modern survey showing that it's clear. That's been no part of this. So if the town of Camden, like, or any town, every time that a private property owner comes and said, I think that I own this, you have to prove otherwise. We have deeds that say warranty deeds by the Rockport Lime Company, consolidating all the rights to that road and granting them to the town of Rockport, which were granted to the Midcoast Solid Waste. So to believe that the town of Rockport and Midcoast Solid Waste have no rights to that road, you have to believe that the Rockport Lime Company had no rights to the Pori Road. It's absurd.
Wouldn't there be any record of the town giving up those rights?
Well, they're refusing
they
to
wouldn't
admit
have
that they
accepted
ever.
Oh, you mean originally before
Yeah.
Midco Solid Waste?
Yeah, I mean, years ago.
There is
I
a
mean,
record that says they're giving those rights to Midco Solid Waste. That was a
But how
long
about
time ago.
the rest of the road? Because it is
It
the
is
old
the whole
road
road.
from.
You have to make the private property owner prove that the
Monroe
town
Street.
has no rights. That is what's
Goes all the way.
that's what's so frustrating about this.
So, but
That's the adversarial
that's not the issue now,
position.
because now we've come this far. The issue is whether there's going to be an entity or a trio or a collaboration of entities that will spend money to do a title search and go for each of the properties itself.
That's
So
not
so
exactly
that
what needs to happen.
what's
And
that?
I-
It's not going to happen.
I need to
from
bring it
Rockport.
back. I need to bring this
This
conversation
would
back.
be
I just need to bring this
not good for the
conversation
path.
back.
This is
I
like
have
an
to bring it back.
community group.
This is,
conversation.
yeah, all that I was looking for was a discussion about whether we as a committee wanted to respond to the select board's comments.
Hmm.
Go for it.
That's all that
I
it
think
was.
it's fair to
This
have-
is,
I think it's fair to have a response from this committee,
Yeah.
as
So
long as
that's-
everything is
that's
not an
the point.
emotional
And
response.
what I can do is,
Speak out.
and what I'd like is to entertain a motion to say whether we do a response or not. And then if it is that we do a response, I'm happy to send the statement from the Rockport Select Board and then my draft response for everybody to review. And then the timeline is pretty quick because February 2nd.
Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks, right?
No, it's the
not
first.
second.
Is it the first Tuesday?
We usually meet on Mondays.
First Monday, sorry.
Um,
Yeah, anyway, it's pretty soon. I think it's next week. And if it's not, then we have another
I think
week.
it's the week after.
I think it's the week after too.
So I'm
that's
thinking.
a great
just-
Anyway,
idea,
so
Jeff.
that's, that idea, that's just to move the process. I'm just hanging on until Michael
Yeah.
sees when the meeting is.
I think our meeting is the 9th of February.
Great. So we would have to have a response by, say, Wednesday of next week, and then for final draft and blah, 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 and finish it up.
So you'll send out an email?
Based on, well, that's my suggestion, but I want to check a process thing for both of you guys to say, this is a motion, this would be a motion, but then to actually approve formally a response from the committee, does there have to be a vote on the response, after it's finished being drafted, or can that be done in email? Do any of you know that?
Read the rules.
Because one of the comments
Yeah.
from the Rockport Select Board was you guys are out of order.
That was something that was brought to my
So,
attention.
so an alternative, and I'm just going to suggest an alternative, because I think I would like to respond myself as a citizen.
And she entertained that.
Oh, yeah.
Denise did.
Anybody can do that.
Well,
Yeah.
anybody can do that, but,
Correct.
and I think it would be okay because I don't know that various members of the committee want to respond. So I don't know
That's why
if we
I'm
want to,
taking a vote right now.
I understand you're taking a vote, but this is we don't have all the members here.
We have a quorum.
Let's vote.
No, you're right. But
That's the way it works, Linda.
I get it, but I guess I would like,
You can vote no.
I know.
Well, the draft would go out to the whole committee, presumably, and anybody
It would.
else who wanted to.
And sort of this is where we ran into the harder feelings that we're dealing with right now.
That's correct, because it went out and everybody said whether they wanted to add their name to the letter, and then,
Right. And then
Yeah.
there was
that's right.
people that didn't want to have.
Didn't want to
and-
have their name on it, which they didn't.
But it's still implied it
It
somehow.
was from the committee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it can't, but that, you can't
Yeah, I see what you're
tie our hands by saying it must be a unanimous decision on every statement. You can't do
You gotta
that.
rely on the
Yeah.
quorum.
That's
as-
not
as
the
a
way,
statement.
that's not the way Robert's rules works.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, then you put only the names anyway, so it
It
kind
was,
of, you didn't
Michael,
even
when,
sign at the
when,
Camden
when,
Pathways Committee, you just put the names.
when
so-
Denise read her statements.
Yeah.
And you may have had some corrections you wanted to make, but it was entered into the record right there, because you said, well, okay. And I saw that maybe you didn't agree with all of it, but it was like, okay, you didn't have a chance to review it.
Well, I did have a chance.
Prior?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I
I
did
thought it was
I
just
did have a
read.
chance to review it beforehand. And I read it and I thought, okay,
Oh, that's okay.
that's pretty much sums it up.
All right. I misspoke.
But
sorry.
you reviewed it privately
I re-
outside of a meeting,
Yes.
In advance to see if this would be a statement.
over email or?
I don't remember.
I
Don't
think
be
they went into
packet.
Don't
exec-
get technical.
probably
Don't try
be
to
the
hold
packet.
anything
They went
wrong.
into executive
This, all
session.
these rules are like, you can use them to paralyze.
Yeah.
It's
I-
really hard to come up
I
with.
think it's sort of a community rupture is how I'm viewing this. And that's, and which I really do want to avoid.
Yeah.
I do want to correct the record, which is why I want to get up there and speak for myself as a citizen. And as a member of the Pathways Committee, obviously, because
You
being
can't
involved-
speak for the Pathways Committee.
As a-
I can speak as a member of the Pathways Committee, not on behalf of the Pathways Committee, but
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
member of the Pathways.
Okay.
She can list her whole resume if she wants.
I can do that. I graduated from center school.
You can't do that either.
Ski Patrol.
But I really think, and I really respect what you're doing, Jeff. I totally understand what you're doing, and that is my initial feeling
Trying to
as
do.
well. But I want also that we don't meet with resistance. I want to make sure that what our message, that what we deliver is thoughtful and it actually does not build even more of why do we even need a Pathways Committee?
Or
And/or Camden Rockport Pathways Committee, because we have issues already with the two towns butting heads on everything. And I really think, I don't want to see
Not
the,
everything.
well, name one thing.
Midco Solid Waste, we get along great.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
let her
but-
finish her
yeah.
statement.
Well, Linda, it sounds like you're not comfortable, and I totally get that.
No,
And-
I wanna-
and-
I'm
and
talking
people have
through
heard
it.
that.
I have a point to
I'm
make.
talking through it here.
The other thing to consider is, I think since the owners pulled their permit, relinquished it, it might be an opportunity to kind of approach it from what are the positives we can bring to it? If we get, we have this thing and Rockport should have done this, it might look like we're being real hard nosed, and it might solidify the owner saying, okay, forget it. I'm just going to block my property off.
He did block his
Which is
property
what
off.
he's.
I know he did.
That's
I know
what's so
he
frustrating
did
that you
at the
guys aren't doing
moment. I know
anything
he
about that.
did.
He blocked it off even
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
on
I
the
understand.
on the Rockport side of the
I
line.
know that.
Hang on.
But here
Hang on,
is a
Allison.
delicate balance. here.
But but we have an opportunity, from what I've been told, that the owner is not 100% against allowing a pathway of some kind to go across the land. Now, whether it's the elevated or not, I don't know, but that permit to dig that up has been pulled. He could always reapply, but if there's a way that we can approach this gingerly, yeah, to try not to alienate that owner and one or two other owners there. That would be a better approach. And maybe we eat crow a little bit, for a moment, but if we really want to build it somehow.
But then
I don't-
Michael,
I don't know.
you're treading on the history and the legacy as well of that thing. And
Yeah, I
so
don't,
then you have a whole nother contingent of the community, which is like, you're ripping up something that,
I know, but yeah,
um,
No,
It's-
just go
And-
ahead
and-
with Jeff's letter
Yeah.
and
and-
send it out, and then we can all look at it,
yeah.
edit it, and help them out on it. Take out the,
There's,
Andrew,
yeah.
are you saying edit and then I present it as my,
no, it's
My
presented from the
response
pathways.
from
We're
my-
here as a group, we're supposed to be doing this stuff.
Mhm.
We gotta get it done,
yeah.
I think.
I hear what you're saying though, Michael, also is that we want to say it in a way that doesn't
Would
put
encourage,
salt in the wound.
yeah, would encourage the owners to want to maintain what is there.
Right. This is, everything that I say is not, none of it's directed at the owner.
Oh, I
It's
know,
all
but I,
directed at the select board.
Yeah, it's
Right.
process.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Owners
But it
sent
will,
cease
but
and
it will
desist
come,
letters to everybody in the neighborhood. About, I can't believe this. Like, let's like placate the owner when he's like
owners, each owner of the property.
the guy who literally.
But wait,
just
let me
moved
keep
to
it,
Rock-
This is a
let
separate
me
issue,
keep it,
Michael.
let me
Let's-
keep it on the issue
Yeah.
of the response,
Yeah.
just whether we need a response.
Need a response.
Can I
Well, I
also-
feel compelled, and Linda's thinking maybe we should each do it on our own. If I'm getting that correct, each of us could stand up and say, this is how I feel, as a member of the Pathways Committee.
No, I think.
They may not
I
let me
think-
speak because I'm from Camden.
No, I think, right. No, I think it's more than appropriate that if a committee feels strongly about an action, such as what happened, to respond collectively. I'm fine with that. But I also feel that there's other things that I want to say that I may take up alone
Sure.
as a
Why not?
citizen.
Why not?
But I also want to make sure that the tone and that everything that we're saying is necessary and right, and that we're just not responding because we feel offended.
You're good at that. That's why I'd want to send it out for everybody to review. That's the idea.
Okay.
It's also why I didn't send it to the paper,
I know. I'm glad you're right.
because I
Can I
felt
also-
that was inappropriate. I didn't want it argued out on the paper.
So there's the response method. There's also, do we have any collective means to take the select board up on if anybody wants to pursue this without town money? Do we have the ability?
Wait, I don't want to go there. I don't want to.
Yeah, save that one because
You're
it's
working on solving the issue of Rock Road. This is just a response to
Okay.
the select board. And the Rock Road is a complicated thing.
Which is why you might, in some of your letter, you might not want to get into some of the
Yeah.
details about like what's clear legally. And
Yeah.
I think it would be, I mean, I understand the urge to do that.
Is it about the process that they went through and the statements that they made? Because it seems like it might be
Yeah.
different things.
There are two different things, and actually, I mixed the two together. It
Okay.
was like it was from our lens and the history of working with Rock Road. There was a little bit of that, but there's also, like, we have been working with the landowners and we'll continue to do so, and we're really supportive of that. And they're saying, you guys did it wrong. You guys confronted
And that's
the
where some of the
community-
misconceptions came in because
Right.
there was no
Sure.
context. So-
Sure, but
And it's okay. It's okay to put that in, Jeff. No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
all right.
Go for it.
I heard it, go for it.
The DEP asked the town of Rockport if there's a community trail there, and they said no. And there's a Rockport staff member that has been coming to these meetings.
I
And very,
don't, Allison, we don't want to work on the Rock Road issue. We'll bring it back
well,
around.
it's like the process in terms of when you have staff
Well,
members and everybody being informed.
Let me slightly clarify. Anytime the topic has been addressed in any meeting or discussion, I have reminded them that this has been talked about for 30 plus years. And the committee has been working on it for
Well, thank you.
years.
Thank you.
thank
And
you.
ever since I've been involved a short time, I said,
Yeah,
I've heard about it, and I know it's something we've talked about many, many times. It did not just come up to us. I have reinforced that.
Yeah, That's really nice
thank
to
you.
hear.
That's good. Anita?
I just want to thank Linda for writing an extremely in-depth article in Penn Bay Pilot to help the community understand the issue.
Hmm.
It was a really thorough, very long
I
article.
know it was long.
It was long.
So impressed.
Thank you for the long article, Linda.
There was so
That
much
will be important for the record, yeah.
Right,
And
right, for the record.
People have been wondering what this is about, and I want to thank you for helping to clarify.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And it's also something why I feel just as strongly as Jeff as correcting, and Allison as correcting the record to the extent that we are able to do so, so that generations going forward can understand what we're going through right now, as well as it's not over, because we do have the ability to do a title search and maybe lay that to rest for future generations, because we're not going to get, I mean, I don't know that we're going to get very far with a rock road right now, other than helping to sort out for the future.
Somebody might want to, somebody
Yeah.
wealthy in the community
Maybe
might
somebody
say,
wants to give
you know, I
land.
think
to-
this is
We'll
important.
continue to work
Here-
behind,
Here's some money
continue to work behind
to get
it
cleared.
Yeah,
and not talk about it in public.
Well, we've
And-
got to
We're
clarify.
going to
yeah.
continue to do that.
because the town, it's true, the town, the capital letter is all of us. It's not just the select board, so.
I'd entertain a motion to decide what to do here, and I'm fine if, which, I don't mind whichever way this vote goes. I just want to close this discussion regarding whether we want a pathways response to the statement, or we want to take this, and if not, then anybody in the group can make their own statement. So this was just clarifying.
Including you.
including me,
Yeah.
including me.
Could you let people, those who want to sign on to a joint statement can do that, and those that don't? And you can just be clear about.
Yeah, that's a good.
I think that's,
I think-
Some people might be like, I see what Jeff wrote, and I'd like to sign my name to that. And other people might be like, my feelings are slightly,
Are you talking about within the committee?
yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking that it's useful that you're writing something that some people can, it's not, and the other times you haven't said, oh, this is just the Camden Rockport Pathways Committee and then no names. It was very transparent with what the
That's correct.
names are.
That's
You can
correct.
Say,
I,
just circulate a letter and see who wants to sign on.
again, I don't like being handcuffed to have a unanimous decision if we want a memo from the Pathways Committee
I don't think. it
to
has
go
be
to the select
unanimous.
board.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be unanimous.
I think just take a vote.
Well, it said, that's why I wanted to say this is a response from the Pathways Committee. I don't want to say this is a response from these members of the Pathways
Right.
Committee in this situation. I don't want to say that because it
Maybe don't say
reduces.
either of those things.
How many additional Rockport members are there that are not here?
Allison, Aaron,
Kristen,
Kristen,
And not Lenny, he's not a member.
Lenny's, yeah.
He's not a member.
And Ken.
John-
Ken.
Ken.
Ken's
And
an
Ken-
alternate.
Ken, I would send that to Ken. Yeah.
So he would have to go, well, first of all, you have to vote on whether you want to send a committee.
That's what I'm trying to get a motion on.
Well, I move that the committee responds.
I'll second it.
You can't.
I can't.
I'll second it.
I'm
Nice
absolved.
try,
I'm
Michael.
absolved.
Yeah, you have no rights here.
I thought it was like technicality, like.
Nice try. Pushing,
excited
always
sometimes.
pushing.
Nothing this time.
We've discussed this enough. All in favor of a committee response, and I just want to add to that, in lieu of individual responses. That's what the alternative would be to the select board.
are you
So-
prohibiting?
Wait a minute.
No, I'm saying this would be a committee response, and it doesn't say anything about individual responses.
In other words, individual is okay.
They're
with this.
fine to do
Right.
it. This is
individuals
just a
can go
committee
speak for
response.
themselves.
Last chance to say something. All in favor?
I,
in the committee? Opposed? Undecided?
Well, yeah,
Tom-
I'm
Tom is
undecided.
a-
Actually, I am
Tom is a-
undecided.
I was waiting for Linda. I kind of feel like the Rockport people should have
Yeah,
a bigger voice in this, because if you
Yeah.
think this is going to cause some kind of, I don't know exactly what you're thinking, but if it's going to put you in a bad position, then
Well, no, first and foremost, we're the Camden Rockport Pathways Committee. And we are certainly, we certainly got slammed around a little bit, a lot. And I think it's important to speak up. But I have not read your response, so I don't know if I'm going to agree with it or not.
that's why I want to, the point is to send it around and get everybody's input. It's a draft.
But then if I don't like it, I've already voted that we should respond. So
Well-
the cart is before the horse at this point.
But you just shouldn't send it unless a majority of.
Well,
you should
that's
have some-
why, in my mind, the process would be, here's a draft. Need to get back to me by Wednesday. I'll incorporate all the suggestions and send it back out. And say, okay now?
So what does he do if people don't get around to responding? This is a problem he's run into before.
So here's a question. What if the five Rockport, 3 don't feel comfortable with the draft? Is there a way that we somehow amend this vote so that, the majority of the Rockport contingency needs to feel comfortable?
I think that makes sense.
Then you exercise some discretion and some sensitivity, and even in the absence of a formal vote, you're like, you read the
Yeah.
room and you know that maybe you
Yeah.
should do it.
And then you speak as yourself, as a longtime member of the
Right.
Camden Rockport
Sure,
Pathways Committee, which
sure.
is, the message is still there. No matter what happens, the message is still there, which I think is really important to deliver. And you do have the institutional memory of what's been going on over the years. So your voice is important to respond.
Yeah, I don't know, process-wise, I'm totally fine with exercising discretion. For me, the way I work is similarly to what Michael was talking about. My goal is to have a successful Pathways Committee, successful projects, including Lily Pond if possible. And I don't mind eating crow or doing any of this, but I want to make sure that we're moving forward in a positive way.
Right.
And that's always my goal. I don't mind how it gets there. Does that make sense?
Well,
If
then
it's,
you
if
don't
I want to
care
burn,
process, because this does involve the process right now.
no, it involves misrepresentation of.
Well, that was the statement,
of
but now
the-
we're talking about the response process.
Oh, the response process. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that if the Rockport, well, you're going to have to own that. I mean, there's only 2 of you here and there's a couple of you missing and
Right.
and Lenny hasn't applied yet.
But we have Aaron, Ken,
And Kristen, Aaron, Ken, and Kristen, right. So you need to check in with them.
And that's what I mean about the cart before the horse. So well, maybe you craft, we can,
Skip another month.
no, you can do a Zoom meeting. You can convene a Zoom meeting.
Why are you imposing a deadline?
I was going to say you could buy another month.
It's too much.
Rockport Select Board only meets once a month, and so then it's like another month.
this seems like we could do it Zoom or we could email somehow,
Yeah.
do a vote at that point.
So what I hear you suggesting is send this draft around, call a meeting for next Thursday to talk about it.
It would have to be
If
submitted.
needed, if
Never get it.
there's consensus over email, I mean, technically that's all a public document. If, you can talk about you've talked in a public meeting about, it's being live streamed, about the possibility of sending a joint letter pending the approval or consensus of the actual language over email. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's fairly
Mhm.
transparent, and that the need to call another meeting to then vote. You'd only
Seems
do that, you do
overdoing
that
it.
when there's like controversy, when there's broad consensus,
Let's see if it comes together with broad consensus. If it doesn't,
then you don't move
Figure out
forward
what
and
to
you
do.
have
We
Then
another
you
won't-
go
don't
and
do
you,
the
and you go
response.
yourself and you speak as
Yeah.
a citizen,
Yeah.
which I think is, it's in the message really that needs to be heard. It's not whether we have 12 members, forcefully. I mean, we all agree to some extent that the work we're doing is really important.
How can we figure out whether the Rockport members would be in support of this if we don't have them here?
or if they don't respond.
Or if they don't?
Oh, we can
respond
reach out to them.
that?
They're,
Prerogative.
I mean, Ken and Kristen are very active. Aaron, we haven't heard much from, but,
He's there, though. He's just
there.
busy.
and this is an
He's
issue
there.
that he cares about.
Yeah.
So what's the bottom line?
What I'm hearing is that where we're leaning is I'll send around the draft, ask for comments. In the email that I send out, I'll say, please let me know what issues you have. Are we close? Are we not close? If it's just too far apart, then people should tell me, and then we'll
Do it
do it
individually.
individually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's
maybe
a
we'll
good-
come back again next month and consider a
Yeah.
committee one.
No, it's not,
That's okay.
that's what we want to do is like, it's not a dead issue. By any stretch of it.
So are you going to call a Zoom meeting next week?
No.
Okay.
It'll be all email. Yeah. And you guys will own making sure that people are leaning in a little bit on that.
If there's any way to make it easy for me, because I'm greedy, selfish, when you get to the point of the final thing, if you can do a separate email that says, here's what we're doing, because in my system, they get buried. If there's a chain of things, they get buried, and I have
Right,
a hard
right.
time. And I have overlooked or missed,
Yeah,
like the last one.
yeah.
When you send things around saying, and I just didn't see it because,
It should go, it's transparent. Yes,
Yeah.
it should go to everybody.
I'm not quite following what your need is,
Well,
Michael.
like-
How do you want me to do
if
it?
we're in a long chain of emails,
It's going, everybody's sharing their comments
yeah.
and blah, blah, blah.
And
You
then when we
need
get
to know when it's ended.
then we get to the point or
It
like it's
would, it
final
would come around again. It's like, this is the final.
as a separate email.
It would be a separate email.
Then I will be sure to see it.
All caps final, right? at the beginning.
Yeah, it would say something
Yeah.
final.
That sounds good.
It would say
Because
something
they all
like
get
that. The
collapsed.
subject. All right,
'Cause I was upset and I told that I didn't know that the last thing was going in the paper.
all right.
But then he said, well, I
Okay,
sent a
Keep
thing.
going,
And later I
keep
was
going,
like,
Jeff.
what
That
is
sounds like a great solution.
Oh, I found it.
Thank you for talking
When I
through it.
expanded this and that.
You bet. The next item was on there, item next was Camden Hills Regional High School Connector, Route 90 planning. Just want to underscore that the select board said, work on the connector. The Rockport Select Board said, focus on the connector. And I can't help but saying this, and because it's a public record, the Rockport Select Board is the one that killed this project
30 years ago, yeah.
when we had $500,000 of funding and we brought it to them to get it done, and they said, no.
No,
That's basically what happened.
it was Park Street and it was one landowner.
It was
in
one
Park Street
landowner.
who flipped the deal and they
That's right.
voted no.
That's
Yep.
right.
They
Okay.
actually said that
One-
I was looking through the old
I was there.
files in the Camden Town office where we actually gave the money back. And one of the requirements that they'd come up with was that this was after voters in both towns had agreed to matching funds
Yes,
for this. And then we had gotten, I think it was about $440,000 worth of
500.
grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today's dollars is.
It's like a
Lot.
bajillion. And the requirement imposed by the Rockport Select Board, which was very similar, and Midco Solid Waste, which is why I've been trying to correct some of those sins from the past, was that each property owner, before the design and planning phase could begin, the Pathways Committee had to go around and get the consent of each property owner that any potential pathway was going to go by, even where a right-of-way already existed. And so because a few people got upset about the idea of like a sidewalk in front of their house or different things. And so that's what's been frustrating, is that like a few people can just the
I
whole
don't know.
process.
I don't know if that policy
so-
has changed, Michael. If you can find out about that, that would be great.
And that particular
can't
road
follow.
actually, yeah, right. Park Street has it has a lot of municipally owned. So, yeah, the town erred in
It's
that whole
huge.
So
process.
when the town
It's
goes and says,
huge.
we're taking people's property from them, it's like, it's a little bit of a trigger from the past, because we've seen before, and I wasn't even a part of this at the time. I just read about it and think, gosh, oh my gosh, look at all this work that they did. How did this not happen? And Midco Solid Waste did the same thing at the time. They were like,
Yeah.
we'd gotten grant funding, and Midco Solid Waste said, we don't really know if we're comfortable with people walking back there. And
The
then
grant.
they
yeah.
stopped the planning process because of that, and that was Camden too, rather than continuing it and letting the majority vote. And so and that's when Summit Engineering also quit. They
Yeah.
said they wouldn't work with Rockport anymore,
Yeah.
because if a town isn't even willing to exercise their own rights, like the
Yeah.
right of way, then there's no point in
Planning.
doing this. So
What-
you've got to be willing to
What
be a little
sidewalk are
bit.
you guys
I
talking
think,
about?
I think we
90.
need to clarify,
It's Route 90.
Nine?
There was a.
Michael, what happened with Route 90? Can you
Summit
just-
Engineering, Summit Engineering received a grant, MDOT grant. The towns did.
Summit Engineering received a grant?
No, the town did, hired Summit Engineering. We did charrettes. We did a charrette with all the property, with everybody invited to it, planning, maps, drawing up Route 90, a connector to the high school,
Sidewalk.
off-street.
Different
Not a
possibilities.
sidewalk. It has to be off because the speed limit's too high. So
Oh,
it has to be off. There,
it was separate.
it has to be
like,
separate. There has to be
lane
a,
or
yeah.
a thing between.
There were different possible
Esplanade.
routes. but-
Esplanade between, okay.
Anyhow,
okay.
anyhow.
Anyway, we did that, went to the select board, said, here's where we're going. And one of the public said, I don't like this.
One of the property owners.
One of the one of the property owners, the public, one
Yes.
of the property owners said they don't like it. The select board said, well, we're not going to move forward
Even though it was routed along the public right
right
of way.
away. Yeah.
It was not on their property.
But anyway, that's what happened.
Aha.
We were in jeopardy of losing the funding. I approached MDOT and said, could we transfer the funding to Jacobs Quarry to fund that? We went to Midco Solid Waste, the big landowner, and they said, no, we don't want it crossing our property. So it was,
Then they made them
and
come with
then
a whole alternate
MDOT said,
route
well, you know what? We're taking our money back.
after like 7 years.
So just
So
for,
that's what happened.
This was in 19,
2000, 2001.
but in the 1997, 1999, there was a plan along Park Street, and Jane, maybe you
Right.
remember this one. And there was a landowner along there, and that's when the town caved, Rockport caved then, because one landowner did not, even though the right of way for the,
Yeah, because people think they own all the way to the pavement.
so anyhow.
Anyway, so
now,
what
we
I'd like
have-
to hear now is that the select board is saying, focus on this. Linda, can you share what's going on with Route 90? And
right,
with
and we
the-
asked Orion the other night, and
VIP.
he reported, so this, I don't know if you guys remember the Sewell study, which is a really excellent,
Really good.
and I
Kind of as
forgot,
good as Summit Engineering's, but go ahead.
I think it's even better. and-
I think it's
but-
even better. Actually, I do.
And the woman who was leading the charge remembered going way back.
She did?
I believe she did, and she was actually appalled that we don't have a pedestrian pathway along Route 90. Anyhow, Orion reported the other night that has yet to hear of the two grants that
Yeah.
applications he wrote. One, I think, is 50/50 and one maybe 80/20 for federal
Good.
funding. But he also said that there's a philanthropist who,
Interested in the project.
thank you.
In doing the engineering.
Is that-
Well, interested in the project. Well,
So I think there's enough leverage here that we're finally moving forward with Route 90.
Is that person still there? Wasn't it the Erickson farm?
no, they're gone. Not Erickson Farm. they're
Well, there's
gone.
ends up being different people that everybody, any
But it can be
sidewalk or
anybody,
any,
anytime.
It doesn't matter.
there's
who it
always
is.
going to be somebody.
There's always going to be
We
somebody.
had,
But directly.
there's people on Rawson Avenue that didn't want the sidewalk there. But you gotta,
Anyway, so that's the update. And so,
Jackson owns that now.
So that's good. That's encouraging and we're leveraging.
and I just want to add a little bit more to that.
oh, we're almost at 7:30.
I know, a little bit more to that, that the CHRS connector, just to remind you, our groups decided, I think at the last meeting, that it's not just necessarily one sidewalk or one multi-use path. It can be multiple connectors. So the work that we did last fall underneath the power lines is another way to connect to it. So it's not either or. So we can continue to work on multiple connectors, okay?
I think Dave St. Lawrence committed to doing Simonton
You gotta turn on your,
up to the town line, up to Park Street. He's told me that he committed.
That's not
to
the
do
town line. The town line's down by the
No.
farm. It's in the
Talking
middle of
about
nowhere.
that. Simonton's corner to Park Street.
it changes the
To
road
get
names once it gets to the town
To put
line.
a pathway along Simonton Corner Road up
A
to
pathway or a sidewalk?
a sidewalk up to the town line, or a bicycle pathway.
Well,
Definitely needed there.
Yeah, when it gets repaved.
I'm not understanding what,
yeah, that's been talked about as like something,
From John Street to Park Street on via Simonton's Corner Road.
what
Past-
about it?
They've
it'll
said
ultimately
that
help you get
when
out
that
there.
gets repaved, Complete Streets will be putting in a bicycle pedestrian pathway along the edge of it.
Sometime in the next.
A bicycle
10 or
lane.
10 or 15 years when they repave it.
I don't know.
It's actually falling apart quite a bit right now, but it's like I think he mentioned that because of the idea of, multiple fronts to be working.
Multiple ways to
that,
get to the
you
high
know,
school. That's right.
They might not all connect to each other at once, but once, a sidewalk on just Simonton Road right now doesn't do
Doesn't
that
do
much.
it, but it all
Since
helps.
we're going to be doing John Street, and then eventually as more and more things become connected, then you can connect into the other things that are already there. Yeah,
Because connection is the name of the game.
Connection is, you're absolutely right, Linda, that's our mission, is connecting things. So,
For everybody.
mhm.
but that report that Rockport did, the Sewell report, was really, really
It's
good.
amazing.
And one of the things that it mentioned that really caught my attention was it identifies the intersection at Stop and Go as a problem for Rockport. And it highlighted it, which was just so interesting because it's been a problem for many different entities. But their report actually said, we know this isn't in Rockport, but it's has such a big impact. We feel like we need to mention it because so many people are cutting through Pascal and through Rockport just to avoid this stoplight
Delivery trucks and
at
all
Stop
that.
and Go. And that intersection has also caused Camden many problems because it's halted our sidewalk improvement efforts on Route 1 because DOT doesn't want to send people down to make this glorious sidewalk to an intersection that is completely impassable. And s- Right. And so I think that there was, and in there, it even talked about like what Camden's perspective was too. Like Camden doesn't want to do this. So maybe we could ask them to do this. And I was like, I don't know who these people are that don't want to have this, but it highlighted for me like the kind of the ships passing in the night or the miscommunications that can happen because it's a completely different select board than the last time this was discussed. And so
Yeah.
what DOT thinks about what Camden thinks, and then what they reported to Rockport about what Camden thinks is like really outdated. And so Dave wanted me to let everybody know that
I'm good. I was going to remind you about that.
that he and Audra and maybe others met with DOT about their initial engineering that they're doing for the Route 1 sidewalk improvements. And they've started doing some of the right-of-way work. We're kind of at the beginning of the process, but they have already looked at a couple things like ways to navigate around the tree on the Rennie side of Route 1.
So they're looking on both sides.
They're looking on
Beautiful big
both.
tree.
Yeah,
And this would be from where the existing sidewalk is all the way up to the Place Bakery? Okay, I
yeah.
think so.
Let's not. They're looking at all options
But
right now.
it's-
So
it
what
is
are
on
the
both sides of the street.
They're
Yeah.
looking at both sides of the street. They are looking at the widening opportunities down by closer as you get to Stop and Go.
Mhm.
DOT's got their engineers and they have a consultant working on it. And also going back to MCOG, there was some discussion about a pilot project possibly with that intersection and seeing if there was a way to do some kind of temporary,
Where?
the Union Street Route 1 intersection with
Yeah,
where
yeah,
the
yeah,
Montessori
yeah,
School
yeah,
is
yeah.
and the
Stop and Go. Mhm.
Stop and Go, yeah. So possibly doing a pilot project where they look at having a temporary signalized intersection
Oh, yeah.
so that you could see how does that go if we just have a regular traffic light, which would allow, when you have regular traffic lights, it also allows you to have regular crosswalks and that kind of thing. And so I guess we got some grant funding for
We did, 100,000 pilot projects.
pilot projects. So that was good to see that conversation is moving forward, having DOT actually looking at it, and rather than us all speculating about like, can the tree be part of it or not be part of it? And their engineers, apparently the preliminary thing was like, they thought they might be actually able to solve that problem. So they're looking at that. They'll come back. Then the other thing is that we're going to be meeting pretty soon with,
I'm just going to interrupt. If this is Camden specific, I'd like to put it off to the next meeting when Camden meets. And I want the joint things that are happening to be talked about. Is there
But
something
this-
that's joint?
I really think.
Remember the Sewell reports?
Yeah.
But that was good.
This is a
You
huge
tied this
mistake.
up. You were just
People
moving.
Go back, Rockport people use these sidewalks all the time. When we get it, oh, this is only Camden, this is only Rockport.
I'm
All
just
the
aware that.
Rockport kids come to Camden for middle school
I
and all the Camden
understand.
kids go to Rockport for high school.
I understand. I'm a big supporter of joint committees, but it's 7:30 and we only get to meet every 3 months
Well, since we're
jointly.
about to have a meeting, I'm gonna say it, Jeff, because I think it's important that we're gonna do the final review before it goes out to bid for the John Street sidewalk.
Hmm.
And that's important. And so they have the finalized plans. Everybody's seen them in the past, but they want to do, Jeff brought up a few good things in a meeting that we had with Audra. Dave is going to have Justin, the engineer, look more carefully. They very nicely have said that they're going to invite maybe a couple select board members or one select board member and Jeff from the Pathways Committee to meet with DOT to go over sort of those final plans before it goes out to bid. So.
Where are the plans right now?
I think I posted them, but I have the plans. I have a copy of the plans.
I think it would be great if
on
you,
on the shared
why don't you
drive.
send those all out? Because I do think it
They're
would,
absolutely monstrous.
well, I can send them out if you
Well,
can't, but
They're 15
can-
megs.
Are they at the
It's a-
Google site that we have, or are
Thought
they
I
at
posted
Town
them
of
up
Rock-
there.
Camden?
They're, I don't know if there's a new version. The one I have was from like 3 years ago.
Oh,
well, why don't I ask for the most
seen
recent thing?
those.
Because I do think it would be great for everybody, if that wants to, take a
Sure.
look.
Sure.
Jeff and I have some comments already.
Yeah.
But,
well, if the DOT is about to put it up for bid, right?
Yep.
Then we'll see it. I
no,
mean,
no,
they're-
but this is our opportunity to
Think about it ahead of time.
think about it ahead of time. Once it goes out to bid, that is the
It's
plan.
locked in.
when is it going out for bid? I thought you said it was about to go out for bid.
Sometime.
And
not
this is not, well, it's not over. They were inviting us to give some final comments, so I don't think we need to You don't have to provide comments if you don't want to.
But you want to see, I'll send it around what I've got. It's enough to get the discussion going. It's close enough.
Never mind, it's right here. You
Didn't I
you
put
put
it
it in
up
the right
there?
spot.
Didn't I put it in the right
Yeah,
spot?
you did.
I thought I did.
We were a little bit concerned about maybe forcing people to cross the street too much. Like on John Street, when you get to the end of John Street on Route 1,
Years ago.
having the people that go to Hannaford, like to turn right, you don't want people to have to cross the street, across Route 1, then go down the sidewalk on the Maritime Farm side, and then cross again.
Right.
They won't do it. They'll figure out another way to get there.
Right, they'll just go along the road, which isn't ideal. A lot of people cut through.
You're walking like in front of, the Place Bakery. They're walking on that side and there's a sidewalk on the
Well,
other
because you
side.
have to cross the street and
I know.
I mean, anyway, so we want to try to, there are a few little things about that, trying to preserve some of these connectors. But everybody always has all these really insightful comments once construction starts. And,
Way too late.
right, and so we're going to try to avoid that this time. So everybody's really taking a look at it now.
Who's everybody?
Anybody
gonna
who
get
wants
that
to,
word
it's
out?
just nobody else.
I'll
We're
send it
not-
around.
Who?
I'll send it around.
This committee.
Yes, I mean, Dave and Justin, town staff are going to take a very hard last look at it, and they've graciously invited a couple of us who are concerned to participate with the final DOT breakdown too.
I'll send it around.
That'd be great.
No problem.
Anything else on the agenda?
There's a printed copy of this existing.
No, what it is it's one of these, it's a really good, the file I have is like, it looks really, it's long and skinny, but you can zoom in on it and you don't lose the resolution. And so you can really see the details. It just takes a while to orient yourself on as to what's going on.
Is that, she said there's a later,
I have no.
No,
idea.
she doesn't
I
know.
don't
This
think
is
so.
enough. Believe me, this
yours
is
is a
close enough.
3-year-old version?
I think.
It's close enough. I really think so.
It's what we
For
put
our
on, they did the
discussions,
virtual
Anita.
public input, DOT did
Yeah,
their whole thing,
I
and then they
don't
got
think it's
input.
changed a lot. I really, really don't.
It's probably still on the DOT public input.
And it's on the drive, so you don't have to.
Well, but I'm going to send it around because some people don't know how to get to the drive.
So I'm
Yeah. And there's people who aren't here, so I'll do that. Real quick, I just want to check in.
Yeah.
Did you want to give a very brief task force update? Rockport,
On Warrington?
the comp plan,
Oh,
No.
the comp plan.
the comp plan, not
Just very
Warrenton.
quickly, there's a process going on in Rockport where the comp plan now is being executed.
This is a
by-
really good idea, Susan.
Yeah, it's
Have you heard this?
oversight,
Listen to this.
Stop it.
oversight,
No, I'm serious.
oversight of the comp plan task force. And it's a committee, I think it's like 3 people who are going around to each committee to make sure that that committee is focused on tasks embedded in the comp plan that Rockport approved in 2025. So the Pathways Committee has a series of tasks which all align with our goals because we essentially read and edited the transportation section.
Yeah.
Which is great. So there's great cohesion there. But another thing I did ask at actually a Legacy Rockport meeting, I brought up the issue of, boy, I wish our roads could actually look a lot better and intersections could look. The beauty of Rockport, I feel, is like getting eroded by life in general. But if there's a way to, and I asked Jan Rosenbaum, who's on the task force, which committee's in charge of, how things actually look, the beauty of the town. And I think this applies to Camden too. It's like how do we actually, the character, if we're preserving the character of a town, how do we actually do that in terms of how we're treating it? So he was very gracious and said, actually, Pathways could have a big voice in that in terms of street trees and how intersections are, John Street, are being engineered right now. So I think it's something that if it's sort of a frame of mind and how we look at things. So I want to look at things more clearly that way.
Who
From
was
a
the
ta-
person you were having that conversation with?
That's with a member of
Legacy,
the
I know.
comp plan task force.
The implementation task force?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and just the point I wanted to, Susan, that I thought was a great idea was there's the comp plan. Sometimes comp plans sit out here. This is an in-between group that says there are 150 different points, something like that, in the comp plan that we want to accomplish. They divided those, all of them got assigned to a committee or to a person in the office, and they assigned all of them. And Pathways got 8. But their job is to come back every month to the select board and report on progress of any of these things that are moving along. Their job is implementing the comp plan,
We're going
to oversee it, not doing it, but overseeing that some movement gets done, rather than it sitting out. That's the little gem that I thought.
That's a town manager's job, but.
Well, it's a great process. So,
It's an idea, just an idea.
We'll watch carefully and see how well it works.
well, we're going to get some
Alright.
street trees.
Well, you know, I'd
And
love
I
to
know
talk to you
Camden
about
has
street
some.
trees. Camden and Rockport used to do this big street.
I know,
tree.
I know.
It
But when I
did.
drove past Hannaford, I'm like, there's the street trees, there they stop.
Anybody have any other topics
didn't want
that they've been dying to bring out today with the joint
We're
group?
piloting a complete street model in Glen Cove.
Yeah.
So we'll see on Warrenton.
But they're implementing a complete streets policy, applying it to Warrenton.
We're practicing to see
Practicing it.
whether it's feasible.
Whether we can actually have a policy.
That's exactly.
Is that the one on Samoset Town? Is that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and apparently, this is really interesting. I didn't know this, but apparently there's a lot of people, residents as well as Samoset guests, who do the loop. So Warrington Street down to the intersection
Which
by
is
the
like a
church in
3-mile loop.
Rockland. And then they come around. And of course, the sidewalks are totally inadequate along the whole way. So this is a chance to
There are
work with
none except
Rockland.
just at the beginning.
Which it's ridiculous.
Well, Rockland has it on the other side by Home Depot.
Just a little bit.
Right, but they also have street trees, right? Home Depot put some trees up. So I think the conversations could start with Rockland too.
Which is my job.
Yeah.
The other little gem I got out of that conversation was that Rockport is looking at this checklist, I can't remember what it was. It's in South Portland has put it together, and I'll bring it to the Camden group.
Well, that was Seattle, the one that Ken.
Well, there's a Seattle checklist one, but there's also one from South Portland that was really good that I checked out. The Seattle one is.
Mammoth.
It's,
Dustin came from a South
It's-
Portland.
What are you talking about? I
Complete
can't remember.
streets policy
It's a,
checklist.
it's a way to, it's a process. It's a menu. It's like a recipe for saying, this is how you do complete streets in your town. But it was for Portland. And we could take it and use it. I'll share it. I glanced at it and I've kind of lost it right now. I'm sorry. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Very good.
We
Turn
are
off
adjourned.
your, yes, we are adjourned.